I'm Benzie Johnson Jr., I'm enthusiastic about television, and Netflix is in a bad place right about now. Hot on the heels of some of their worst news ever, the streaming service is revealing a crucial pivot in its content. But that move may create more problems than it solves. Here's what's going on and how it could set Netflix up for disaster. Netflix has made their name on their uniqueness. Over the past decade, they've thrown money at anything that breathes to make excitingly quirky and unusual things that have attracted audiences from all around the world. From gruff sitcoms to weighty dramas to 4-hour movies and even some stellar animation, the streamer has made a name for itself as a place where some of the most unadulterated creativity in TV has been put to screen. But that may be all about to change. If the rough week Netflix had recently is anything to go on, Netflix just reported its first decline in subscribers in over a decade. Instead of taking on 2.5 million more subscribers in its first 3 months of the year, they ended up losing 200,000 people, and they expect 2 million more subscribers to ditch the service over the next 3 months. New Netflix signups were down 16% in the first quarter of 2022, and 3.6 million people canceled their subscriptions during that period, including a 61% spike in March alone. And Netflix's unique content may not be so distinctive anymore. Quote, "For every single title on the Netflix catalog, the demand is pretty much flat." Alejandro Rojas of research firm Parrot Analytics opined to the New York Times, quote, "The catalog for HBO Max and Disney Plus is growing at double digits. That's a big difference." Netflix is clearly starting to slip, and just about everyone's noticing. On April 20th, 2022, The Wrap reported an exclusive expose into the effective destruction of Netflix's vaunted animation department, one of the most ambitious and creative production development arms at the streaming service. Department head Phil Rinda was fired, and creators have revealed dark secrets about how things operate in Netflix's studios and boardrooms. One anonymous former producer interviewed by The Wrap noted that Netflix's direction had changed over their tenure at the streamer. At first, Rinda's creative ethos proclaimed, "We want to be the home of everybody's favorite show." By the time the producer left, Netflix was singing a different tune. "We want to make what our audience wants to see." These two statements may sound similar on the surface, but they are vastly different in practice. The former ethos suggested Netflix seemed willing to take more creative chances and give the creators and their teams the space to develop their projects, even if it may only end up catering to a niche audience. Back then, the gambit seemed to be that if they blindly threw enough money at enough people, there would be enough projects in the pipeline to appeal to a diverse array of audiences, which in the end would even out to a larger total audience, and by extension, larger total subscription revenues. Now, that's changed. It seems Netflix is now looking to establish a creative direction for their output, much like any other media conglomerate, which will likely mean fewer shows, whose development is more tightly controlled by executives attempting to appeal to the widest audience possible on a per-series basis rather than across the overall slate. So, in short, Netflix has gone from being the home of everybody's favorite show to the home of your new favorite show. And what does Netflix see as the sort of project they want to support? The franchise The Boss Baby, according to the creatives interviewed, is now the streamer's standard bearer for both what an animated series on the platform should be and how successful in terms of viewership the show should be to not get cancelled. The Boss Baby is, of course, a movie franchise from DreamWorks, but they've produced multiple spin-off projects for Netflix. The Boss Baby Back in Business from 2018 to 2020, a Back in Business interactive special entitled The Boss Baby Get That Baby, and the upcoming series The Boss Baby Back in the Crib, incorporating theatrical sequel The Boss Baby Family Business. Now, it's not like we haven't seen a move like this before. Nickelodeon's long-term infatuation with SpongeBob SquarePants, often to the real or perceived detriment to all other shows, is the most direct example, but it's the content they've chosen as their new flagship which is telling. While it's inoffensive at large and critics have rated the movies as mediocre, The Boss Baby is also criticized by some of the more exacting members of the online animation community as some of the least creatively inspiring content family entertainment has had to offer in recent years. Major film critics seem to agree that the second movie is worse than the first one, and there's nothing to suggest that will change with the third movie reportedly in early development. Is Netflix really aiming for mediocre now? Even if they want to establish a specific creative direction of their own, kids TV has proven time and time again that mass appeal entertainment doesn't have to sell for being unassuming or uninspiring. A cohesive direction for Netflix isn't inherently bad, but there are structural problems inherent in the concept of streaming services that may limit how widely they'll be able to implement it. Not to mention that their content still has to speak for itself, and positioning the Boss Baby as the pinnacle of their endeavors in animation and kids TV may actually serve to drive away far more people than it attracts. But you know, I can't help but get a sneaking sense of deja vu, because I swear I've seen a major media outlet make mediocre content their strategy before, with a potentially divisive series spearheading the channel's efforts. Oh right, Cartoon Network! They've been off my mind for so long I forgot them for a second. In the early 2010s, Cartoon Network was burnishing a similar reputation to Netflix, a haven for serious, creator-driven stories with striking sensibilities. The likes of Adventure Time, Regular Show, and Steven Universe dominated the kids' TV zeitgeist and the wider culture as well. But things changed, roughly around the time that Teen Titans Go, once egregiously marketed as your new favorite show, started to take over the network's airtime. Programming decisions changed at CN as the network tried to focus rigidly on the boys 6 to 11 demographic the network had been targeting in recent years, to the detriment of the sizable peripheral demographics which had begun to coalesce around some of the channel's more ambitious existing programming. Out went the critically hailed juggernauts, and in came a glut of self-professed action comedies, which struggled to set themselves apart from each other and didn't seem to succeed much in reaching either genre, though some of them do have cult fan bases. Throw in worsening scheduling, ill-conceived reboots, and creative tendencies that became outright destructive to animated storytelling itself, and Cartoon Network ended up with torpedoed ratings and considerably reduced overall relevancy. Things may not get that bad at Netflix, sure, but with the Boss Baby as the content they're looking up to, things might not get that good either. Their reputation for allowing space to push television forward may as well be history, almost certain to be replaced by uninspiring cookie-cutter products that, even if they do establish a style for Netflix, will struggle to be distinctive against outlets with more defined, better established creative tastes, and stronger, more ambitious programming strategies. I have nothing against kids TV that doesn't reach stunning creative heights, and if you've been here for a while, you probably know that. There can be an appeal to just nailing your concept and executing it well, and I insist that, in my eyes, Netflix's future shows will largely have to define themselves on their own merits. But the overarching strategy that happens in the boardroom matters too, as it decides what gets made and, at times, how far the creatives can go in making their show stand out. This move will impact the state of animation and kids TV for years to come, and if, despite the best efforts of their creative talent, Netflix starts swinging and missing with their future series, this professed new creative direction will be a lot of the reason why. The new programming direction isn't the only shocking thing going on at Netflix. Creative talent there have just revealed how heartless their executives are too. Find out those new revelations up here or down in the description. Consider supporting my videos and checking out exclusive bonuses at benzj.tk/join. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you next time.